This is a tutorial on blurring a small piece of image in a video using Flowblade. So I'm using Flowblade version 2.6.1 and I have a new project here. So first of all I'll add in my video. I just went outside and took a short video of my car. Now the default project here has a different set of settings here, so I'll change it to the file profile, which is what the file is that I just took. Now this is a short video of just walking towards the car, and I'm going to blur out that number plate. You might want to do this on a face or something. So I'll just drag that one into V1, I'll turn off the sound, and I'll drag a copy of it into V2. Turn off the sound of that one as well. I find often when you drag these they don't necessarily go next to each other, but these are. I've zoomed right in there with the mouse scroll wheel and they look like they're starting at the same point. Now what I need to do is I'm going to take this second video here and blur it and then copy a small section of it just over the number plate into the V1 there. So first of all you need to double click on this one. I've single clicked on it but it hasn't gone onto it, so double click and it's gone onto the filters there. Now what you do is you choose from this slot here, so first the filters down here amongst these tabs here, then choose the one we want here, which in this case is blur, and then I just want to blur. You could do a pixelize as well, but I quite like the blur one. Click on that and it adds it into this stack up here. So we have a stack of filters at the moment that's just blur. Now it's very difficult to see, but right up here there's a bar here which you can drag along to blur it more or less. Now I want it to be more or less recognisable but just not readable. So if I just blur it a real small amount, like so, and that's my blur, so I want to copy that back down onto the other one. To copy it down, you click back on here and do a what do? You do right click and add a compositor and we'll go blend. Now the blend is blending down to V1, which is where we want it, so going from V2 down to V1. Now what that means is as you play this here, it's actually all blurred now because it's showing V2 instead of... V2 has been blurred down onto V1. And what we're going to do now is change that. We're going to put in another filter so it doesn't blur the whole lot, it's just over the number plate. You can't see that number plate, that's good. So back onto V2 and filters, I'm going to add another filter here. Now this is the filter that lets me choose just a small amount. Where is it? It's an alpha filter, I think. And outer filter rotor mask. Okay, so we need to launch this. So we've got two filters here now. We've got blur and we've got rotor mask, and I want to launch this editor so I can choose where I want to actually mask. So you've got your timeline along here, which means we can change where it is at any point along the timeline, which we'll need to do to follow the video as we go along. And we've got these two editing bits here. So we'll click it on that one and that'll let us draw on the screen. Now these need to be on, I'm pretty sure these are correct, clear and alpha, but we'll test it in a minute. Okay, so to draw my little thing, I just click on here and see immediately I clicked once and it all went clear. That's because it's only blurring within the thing that I'm drawing here. So I'll draw more than one point. There, added it all together, and that is now what it will look like in the final edit. Final edit is over there, as you can see. So we've got our nice little blurry number plate now. if I just close that now and play, see that the blur stays where it was. And so we need to be able to move that blur all the way over to there to keep it in line with the moving number plate all the way through. So we'll go back into our rotor mask editor. And this doesn't seem... Oh, here we go, it is working here. It wasn't working here before, but it is now. So we go up to the end. If you put it on this one here, you can just move this like so. If you're on that one there, you can change it. Like that. Now I've got the first frame and the last frame done. If I drag the red line, that's where I am in the video. This dot here is where I've changed the masking there, and if you're not careful then you can move that. So for instance, if I do that, then it's moved it, and instead of at the last frame, it's now back there. I think. So back to the start. You can move along here. I'm using the keys now to skip frame by frame. You can see there it's just starting to move off where I need it to be blurred. So I'll put it back into the right place. And you can see we've got another dot that's appeared there now. And so that's got one at the start and one in the middle. So I've moved back. It's frozen. Here we go. I'll move back here, and then the blur is just moving with it. So I'll go back here again, it's starting to move, push it over, push it over. Now you notice there that, we'll do that again, if it moves out of the way you can go a few frames further and put it back, and it seems to fill in those frames. So it's somewhat smart in trying to figure out what you're doing. You don't have to do every frame. I wonder how far we can go. Let's try that far. Yep, that's figured it out. It looks like it figures it out if it's a reasonably predictable movement. Now it's moving in the other direction. So yeah, that needs a bit of help there. There we go. Just push it back down there. And there, that should be right to the end of the clip. So you can see all these dots we've got along here are where we've adjusted it, and then it's filled in between. Close that. If we play now, we need to go back to the start and play. Then we have a blurred number plate. There was one period where it just blows off to the left a bit, so you could fiddle and get it even better if you wanted to. But that's not bad. And so to finish off the job, you go into the render option and click render. And I won't overwrite the current file because I've put it into the wrong place. Actually, yes, that will do. So to render, go into render, click render, overwrite the file, that's fine in this case. And it's done.